Today we're looking at a Hapkido book written by the guy who was in Billy Jack. Hi guys, my name is Joe and welcome to Fighting Words, the martial arts library. On this channel I review martial arts books and talk about other martial arts related subjects. The subject for today's review is Hapkido, Korean Art of Self-Defense, written in 1974. The author is Bong Soo Han. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, Bong Soo Han was instrumental in the Billy Jack series. He had a part in the second movie, but he also choreographed and did some stunt work for the first movie as well. In addition, he taught Hapkido to both Korean and US forces. Unfortunately, he did pass away in 2007. Now, the book begins with a brief history of Hapkido, as well as some of the philosophy behind it, including the three core principles. Those principles include non-resistance, so you're not meeting force with force, the principle of circular movement, in other words, moving around the opponent, moving around their attack, and the water principle, so you're flowing, including penetrating into their defenses. This is followed by a section on Tanjan breathing. The Tanjan, also known as the Daitian in Chinese martial arts, is a point located below the belly button where, in the theory of Eastern medicine, where qi originates. And this breathing method, to me, sort of resembles a little bit of Qigong, the Chinese qi building exercise. It's primarily about abdominal breathing. There are accompanying arm movements as well. Next, he shows the striking points of the body. So these are the points that one is using to strike with, including different parts of the hand, different parts of the foot. The book gives their Korean names for these various points, as well as demonstrating some applications of the basic strikes. Next is a section on warm-ups, and this includes some basic stretching. This includes both static stretching, in other words, holding a stretch, as well as dynamic stretching in the form of kicks primarily. So like swinging your leg forward and above your head, that would be an example of a dynamic stretch. He also shows some variations of push-ups and sit-ups. After that, we get a brief description of the fighting stance, illustrated here. And then we get a chapter on punching and striking. So these are primarily upper body strikes, although he will show knee strikes as well. One benefit of this book is that we get both the front view as well as the side view of several of these techniques. We're getting a lot of follow-through on the techniques. Like, I come from a karate background. I'm used to the idea of, like, if we do a knife hand, it stops here. He's showing it continuing past that impact point. After that, we get a section that shows a few blocks with the forearm. And following that, we get basic and advanced kicks. Now, these are separated into two different sections. Basic kicks, for instance, include a few variations of the front kick. So we get front kicks with the ball of the foot, kick with the instep, designed specifically to attack the groin, and a kick with the heel of the foot when we're doing a front kick. You will also include things like round kicks and side kicks in the basic section. In the advanced section, we're getting a lot of spinning techniques and jumping or flying techniques. Again, we're still looking at the kicks, so we get like spinning side kick, we get jumping side kick, and so on. And again, in a lot of these, we get both front and side views of the technique. Next is a chapter on defense against hand strikes, so reverse punch or lunge punch. What's interesting here is that he's using what we would call soft blocks. So instead of actually using the forearm block like he showed earlier, sort of do these soft parries where he's catching and slightly deflecting the blow. After that deflection, he's retaliating with hand strikes of his own, or sometimes kicks. And again, these are often shown from multiple angles. Next is a chapter on kick defenses, where he shows defenses against the front, side, and round kick. These are often retaliated against with kicks of their own. Next, we get into a full-on self-defense section. Whereas they've worn a martial arts uniform in the prior photos, in this one we get folks who are in civilian clothes. What's interesting here is he has a female student demonstrating all of these self-defense techniques, These are primarily defense techniques against grabs. The defenses typically take the form of open hand strikes, even like gouging into the eyes sometimes, as well as some standing locks. We also get a defense against what in modern grappling parlance we would call the mount, and you're twisting the guy's head to get him off of you. Finally, the book finishes with a chart on pressure points. These are both front and rear pressure points. We get an illustration of a body that's divided down the center, with the front half of the pressure points being on the left side and the rear half being on the right side. As far as the pros go, this book, for being the time in which it was published and as short as it is, actually shows kind of a decent amount of details. And I also really like the fact that they show the techniques from multiple angles in many of these sequences. I also think it has generally a good structure as far as organization goes. As far as the cons, not really a whole lot to talk about. I just think I associate Hapkido more with things like locks and throws, and we don't actually get a whole lot of those. We get a little bit in the self-defense section, and one of the kick defenses is a foot sweep. But for an art that is derived from the same source as Aikido, it just sort of seems a little bit light on the locks and throws. As far as recommendations go, if you were a practitioner of Hapkido, why not pick up this book? Or even any Korean martial art. I think it has a bit of a benefit as far as the names of the techniques. I think the self-defense section is a bit so-so. I think there are better books out there generally on it. But if you're looking for Hapkido's answer to certain self-defense situations, that would be helpful. Pretty well written book, even though there's a part of me that feels like it doesn't really represent what I've come accustomed to thinking of when it comes to Hapkido. But that's all I have for this week. If you guys have any thoughts on this book, let me know, and I'll see you around.